Hello guys, MikuChibi here. Welcome back to another Sword Art Online Factory video. And today it is Sinon's birthday, so happy birthday Sinon. And we of course can have a look at her birthday skill, her two new birthday skill and her banner. And also have a look into what are the skill record that you get in this banner. And also talk about if this banner worth to summon on. So let's start with the banner itself. Short about the banner. It is a step up banner with 3 steps. Step 1, you have 50% off. Step 2, regular price with 5.3% drop rate for our new future Sinon skill, which is these two. And step 3, you have a guaranteed 4-star Sinon skill. It is random, but you also have 2% drop rate for future new Sinon skills. That means on 11th pull, you have 50% chance to get one of these future skill and 50% chance to lose that. Now, if you look at the birth skill here, the 2024, we can see we have a new burst skill and a new active skill. The burst skill is an active skill, Unleash Arrow Sinon. It is the Frost and Water, which can be really useful during this duty that is coming up right now. And then we have active skill, which is a pass skill, Ice Sniper Sinon. So let's have a look on the birthday skills. The first one we have is Ice Sniper Sinon, Icy Blade, Marksmanship and Circle Break and Pierce. Icy Blade 4 deals 20% water element damage to enemy, pretty good. Marksman 3, when equipping 2 or more Sinon skill recorded in the same set, plus 20 attack, alright, that's good. And Circular Break, increase in break gauge to enemy, plus 27.5, really good skill here, especially during break, and that might be a hint that the GOG boss is gonna have a break. While access skill is activated, Pierce 3, damage done to enemy to weak to frosting, plus 25%. Oh, that is actually really good. Okay, so let's have a look at the normal. Bow, Aqua Meteoroid, for SP, Frozen Water, 50-second cooltime, for 8 switch gauge, 28 break gauge. Pretty small. 60% damage, 6 hits single target. Water Element, Enhanced 4, Water Element damage plus 9% for 50 seconds. Enhanced Frost 1, damage done to enemy weak to frost plus 15% for 20 seconds. Not bad, buff and debuff. And for burst skill, to activate burst skill, you need to do Water, Water, Frost, Water. And it has a 30-second cooltime and break gauge 56. If you look at the skill effect, 4570% damage, 60 single target. The lower your own HP, attack increase, max 200%. Water element damage increased by number of frostbite stacks times 0.5% when the player is inflicted with the frostbite status element. Okay, can be hard to achieve if you want to play with frostbite. If you can, it is really good. If you can't, this bonus here is still enough to be good. And it can activate it without consuming any SP, really nice. If you look at the rate, we have 0.041. Wow, pretty low. And if you look at step 3, we have 25%, so 50% for each, and 0.50 for the normal one. Okay, yeah. Not bad skills. Burst skills is definitely something everyone probably want to have during GOG. And for Sinon, it can be somewhat good for any Axel build if you know how to do that. So that was the birthday skill, and let's have a look on other skills that you can potentially get if you're pulling on Sinon's birthday banner. So I made a list, and you can see there's so many Sinon skills that have been released, and they're gonna take a while to talk about. But I'll try to my best to shorten it. So the first thing first, mod skills. When it comes to Sinon's mod skills, all of them is pretty much really good, but you will also want to be up to date. Have a newer skill mod is much better than the older ones. For example, let's say you have this Sinon here. This Sinon here is a Fire Frost mod, and it's probably one of the strongest fire mod. So it's much better than these two here and including this one. So it is really good. You also want to have the new one, but all one is still fine to use except for this one. This one has really bad animation. Hopefully you don't get it, and is also in general, so you have a chance to get this one. Same with this is in general, so you have a chance to get this one. And let's say any holy mod bow, we can go for this. This is pretty old but still really good, still really useful. And this one is probably the latest one for holy mod bow, really good for farming floor 17. Next we have connect, and these are mostly really good if you know how to play stack. And there are some skills that are really good when it comes to stacking. For example, we have this one. This one is really good when it comes to stacking. Definitely something you want to really have in your set if you are playing stacks. If you don't play stacks, you don't really need any connect skill, but mostly when you play suicide bow, you really want to play around stacks. I'm gonna move this one here. This is also connect, really strong connect skill, definitely something you want as well to have. Very strong, it gives you more stacks if you use it, really good. Next we have access skill. For now, when it comes to bow, this access skill is acting as a support, and mostly you either put them in connect skill or use them in the access build. I have this one, I only have this one, and I use it for just inside the connect skill with this one, so I'm only buffing that, and that is the only thing I use. I don't really use axle when it comes to a bow because it's really hard to use it. It's really hard to use it in my opinion. Access skills when it comes to Sinon, they are decent, really good if you know how to play around stacks. Awakening. Sinon do have many awakening, but I will consider them use support. You don't really use her skills that much. But the only skill that I would say is really important to have is reckless courage. If you have bow skill that gives you reckless courage buff, that is a must set to have in your suicide bow because they increase your damage and really good buff and really useful. And the most popular one that is probably many have is probably sniping arrow. Sinon is really good, it gives you reckless courage and has been used in almost every single suicide set into the game. And it is in general, so you have a chance to get it. Otherwise you can get these two. These two is also another reckless courage skill that buff, but are kind of limited. I'm sure there are more bow skills that is also have reckless courage, but I don't really remember them. So I can only say these three for now that you can have a chance to get if you're pulling for Sinon's birthday, if you don't have any reckless courage skill right now. And then we have this poker Sinon. I only put in here because it's really useful, buffing fire with demon buff and also increased break gauge, and his awakening really useful. But the only thing is not really useful is probably the rush because it's heal you 20%. When you're playing suicide, you definitely want to stay low HP as possible. Next one we have burst. The only thing I would say, these two here, this last year burst skill and this heavily rain burst is really good. This one is really good for floor 85 farming. Any frost fire content is really good, and this one is really good in any holy frost content, especially floor 17 when you're fighting the boss, the Drake boss. Really useful, really good. And these two I would say is kind of outdated but still can be useful. For example, this one can be still useful for underground labyrinth B4 when you're fighting the centaur that is weak to frost and earth. And then we have the captain Sinon, which has been really good before but now has been falling off a lot because we can't really crit that much. Full burst, we have only two for now, and these are really good. And when it comes to full burst, when it comes to the latest mechanic and the meta, full burst on bow is really good, really amazing. It definitely helps to deal a lot of damage, and they don't really rely on you being target. They're more reliant on you being low HP, so that's why it is really good. Next one we have fathers. Sinon has 5 fathers. 4 of them are in gacha and 1 of them is for free. And the free one is when you complete floor 79 story. So really good father here. Definitely something you really want. For the father, we do have this black wing Sinon. Really good father. It's a 3 slot. It does a lot of damage if you fought into your mod. Really good. Then we have 2 slot father, 175% damage. Really good. Then we have 1 slot that gives 100%. really good as well. And then we also have this one. This is another 100%. It's basically the same as this one. If you have this one, you can use it instead of this if you don't have. But if you have all three here, then you will deal 300% more damage because they can stack and they only cost one slot. So just putting these three skills is really good. Otherwise, any of this combination is fine. Like this one can combine with these three, and this one is already 3 slots, so you can really combine with anything else. Support skill is basically use awakening skill. When I mean by support skill, basically use buffing yourself for the most of the time, but rarely being used. For example, crit rate, we can't really use them too much because some of the boss or mostly endgame content have really high crit resistance, so they are pretty much useless, and you can only reach about 100%, close to 1% crit rate, and that's all. So you're pretty much useless unless you have some stack. If you can play around stacks, then it's really good. Yeah, the rest is fine, I would say. Mostly these skills here that you can see is mostly use support, buffing yourself and maybe potential your team. So yeah, they are decent. And I'm gonna want to mention a few of them. For example, we do have Color with Sinon. One of the oldest skill is still really useful for late game sword build because it gives defense, and Kirito has somewhat good synergy with Sinon, so it's really useful, really good. So Color with Sinon is here because it's pretty much flexible in any sword build. Next one, we have Veteran Technique Sinon, which means it gives you more attack and also HP recovery, really good. Then we have Power Rise. I think there are one more Power Rise. I think this one is Power Rise 4, really good. If you're building a specific build, for example fire, these powers here can be really good, really useful. Increase fire damage and also is a Power Rise, so give you more flat attack, really nice. So Sinon do have some strong passive skill that can be useful. And then we have some limited skill that you can't get in this banner, and also free skills. And then we have the rest that is pretty much useless. And 2 new birthday skills that will apply later. So those are the skills that you can get on Sinon's birthday. Real nice, a lot of them, but you have to be real lucky to get these. So the question is this Sinon worth to summon on? It really depends. If you currently want to build bow, because you really like bow, I will recommend pulling this one if you can do multiple pulls. If you can do multiple pulls, then you can rack up more bow skill that can play around, because bow needs a lot of bow skill, and most of bow skill that can be used is in the Sinon's birthday. So pulling on Sinon's birthday is really good if you're trying to build bow. New players, if you tried bow and really like it, I will say the same. Only pull on Sinon's birthday banner if you can do multiple ones, because bow is really good, especially for DPS. And most of the content, endgame content, you do really want to have bow unless you have a really good rapier or spear. For other players that doesn't play around bow, you can skip this one. You don't have to really build bow if you don't really like to play bow. You can just save your con gems for future banner. That still can be good. That's nice. And for me, if I gonna summon on Sinon's birthday, yes, I will. Not on my main though, because I don't really need. I'm really happy with my water build right now. My water, my holy, and dark. I'm really happy with that. I don't really need any improvement. I'm also happy with the currently fire set. I have a lot of elements. The only element I'm missing right now is earth. Getting the earth skill gonna be hard. It's basically these two here. They are earth. And not really useful. I do wish they had brought this one back, but this one is limited, it's not coming back. I think this one was released during Unleashing Blade from 6 months ago, something like that. So this one was really good. Other than that, I will pretty much skip on my main, but I will make a summoning video with my alt. And hopefully I do get both of the skills, hopefully, or anything more. We'll see. So overall, 2 new amazing skills for birthday, and Sinon do have a lot of birthday skills, so it's only recommended if you can do multiple pulls. If you can't do that, you pretty much have to save. And for those that want to want to try bow, make sure you have a lot of Arcana Gem to do multiple pulls, because doing multiple pulls you have a chance to get more bow skills that you can build around, and hopefully you do get Reckless Courage, because that is the core skill to build Suicide Bow. Without Reckless Courage, you will miss a lot of potential more damage. Sure, you can play without Reckless Courage, but I definitely do recommend trying to get the Reckless Courage, because it's really good. Without it, you're missing a lot of damage. Rerollers, if you want to reroll, actually I don't really know. You probably reroll for Power Rise, that's all. Yeah, you only reroll for Power Rise, that's all. You're not really rerolling on bow skills, because bow skills require to have more bow skill to be able to be supported. That's me, thank you for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful, and see you guys next time. Take care now, and bye bye.